hidden names helped the owners of a grand 1880 Victorian rebuild their home's prominent past. These stories and more, if walls could talk. Hello, I'm Grant Goodeve. Welcome to If Walls Could Talk. Steve and Becky Ostrom can't count the number of times they drove by their 1918 farmhouse in Snohomish, Washington. They lived just a few blocks away, and so they were among the first people to notice when it came up for sale in 1992. They toured the property and could see the work that needed to be done, but were still attracted to the home and its surroundings. As they began restoring the house, they discovered a love story that had not only traveled across time, but had crossed an ocean as well.
Almost every wall we tore into was an adventure in itself.
When Steve and Becky Ostrom started restoring their 1918 farmhouse, they gained a new understanding of the phrase original condition. Cleaning up more than 70 years of living required a lot of elbow grease, and the number of items they uncovered demanded an equal amount of brain power.
Every room seems to have a piece of the puzzle. The more we progressed on our work, the more we would find things that would inspire us to ask questions.
Tearing out walls and replacing floors was a labor of love for Steve and Becky. But their desire to know more about the history of their 1918 house was fueled by a rich discovery Steve made early in the process.
I found this 1916 Indian head nickel. We found that down in the living room. I got excited because I knew that there was much more to be found in there.
Steve's suspicions were confirmed when he and Becky discovered old silverware and mason jars hidden in the walls. While insulating a bedroom, they also uncovered a mysterious ticket to a company picnic and a railway token. Little did they know at the time how far their home story stretched as they began to learn about the artifacts and the first owners, Martin and Nettie Moen.
The only thing that we knew was that Mr. and Mrs. Moen lived here with 12 children. We've learned a little bit more about the family through the little things we found.
The Ostroms discovered that it was Martin Moen who worked at Sumner Iron Works. And when they learned the railway token was from a local line, they believed the train was how Martin traveled to his job. But the couple suspects that the Moens also worked their land to support themselves after finding a well-used shovel and early 1900s plow outside.
They had to use these things to eat a lot of their goods in the wintertime with the stuff that they raised in the summertime. So to us, they're landscaping items, but to them, they're things of survival.
The one tool the Ostroms would like to find is the knife that was used to carve some letters into the home siding. Initially, they weren't sure who left the mark behind, but after comparing the age of the children with the height of the carving, Becky and Steve suspect it was the Moen's son, Leroy.
It's interesting because it's at eye level, and their eye level was pretty low. And then, you know, the carvings and things. So it's fun to look at them and know that their hand was there.
Even with their growing collection of artifacts, Steve and Becky felt like they were still missing intimate details from Martin and Nettie's life. Their search for information went in a new direction when Steve made an international discovery in a bathroom.
I was actually on my hands and knees tearing the boards out, and I looked down right inside the wall at the floor, and I found this letter. And it was actually folded up just like this. And my imagination just took off on me. I noticed immediately that it was written in a foreign language.
Becky took the letter to her office, and a bilingual co-worker recognized the language as Norwegian and translated it. After reading it, Becky and Steve realized that their handwritten mystery was an 1899 love letter written to a Martin Soren from a young admirer in Norway.
It is good to hear that a friend in life who one is fond of is hale and hearty, and 1,000 times better for me, as I hear from your letter that you're thinking of having your picture taken this spring, and that you're thinking of sending it to me.
And when I read the translation, the letter was so poignant and so well written that that we started to get really excited about it, and we wanted to find out who had written the letter and who was the letter addressed to.
On Valentine's Day in 1999, Becky presented the note to the local newspaper. A feature article celebrating the letter's 100-year anniversary prompted a flood of new information from the Snohomish community. The Ostroms were surprised to learn that the letter's Martin Soren was the same person who built the home. Martin was originally from Norway and changed his name to Moen when he immigrated to this country.
But the two questions that remained were who was the author of the letter and whatever happened to her.
Steve sent out an inquiry over the internet. Once again, a newspaper article brought them the answers they were looking for. But this time, the paper was from the same country as the letter. A Norwegian reporter responded to Steve's email with the identity of the author and the fact that she didn't pine long for her old flame, Martin.
Her name was Ellen Harstad, and she lived in a fishing community on the coast of Norway and ended up falling in love with the man that owned the farm where she worked.
Because Martin saved the 1899 letter, Becky and Steve feel that he must have had some lingering affection for Ellen. But the number of Moen family items the Ostroms discovered suggests that Martin and his wife Nettie lived a full and happy life in their home. Becky and Steve are honored to continue that tradition.
It really makes me feel like I'm taking everything they worked so hard to establish here and just make it last for another generation. And all those good experiences and bad experiences, which is a part of life.
One of the items Becky and Steve display in their yard is the bumper from a Model T Ford they uncovered while gardening. Steve also found the key to the car behind one of their baseboards. Who knows? Maybe if they keep digging, they'll find enough parts to reconstruct the whole car. When we come back, a 1913 house provides a glimpse into one family's fun pastimes. But the owners discovered that their Ohio home also had a more serious side. There's more to hear if walls could talk.
What do you do when her style is not compatible with his?
Call in the style experts from Designing for the Sexes. Thursdays at 9 on HGTV.
Introducing McCormick Grill Mates Grilling Sauces. Just grill, brush, and let the feast begin. New Grill Mates Grilling Sauces, along with seasonings and marinades, are from McCormick, the taste you trust.
I'm telling you, I'm the laundry queen. Everybody comes to me for stains and I tell them what to use to get it out. Like I have a girlfriend, she'll bring me a pair of pants of her daughter's. Grease, coffee, grass stains. When I use Clorox 2, it knocks the stain out.
What do you think of OxyClean?
I don't like OxyClean. I wasn't satisfied with it at all. It just doesn't get the stain out. There is a difference because my clothes seem brighter, cleaner, and the stain is gone with Clorox 2.
Mama's got the magic of Clorox 2.
Because I like clean clothes.
Not yet. Still not. Nope. Getting warmer. Now it's official. It's not really summer till you have your ballpark.
Only Ballpark Franks have such a big, juicy taste. They plump when you cook them.
Don't you just love summer?
Bite into the big taste of a Ballpark single, individually wrapped for freshness.
Do you need a little help with lawn care? Come into Ace, the helpful place.
On the next Weekend Warriors, their home's getting a family-friendly makeover.
It looks great.
With some trial and error.
Time to do a little adjusting.
Will they get the job done?
Maybe we should try Plan B.
I'm glad you have so much confidence.
Weekend Warriors, Thursday night at 8 on HGTV.
Join HGTV in Washington, D.C. for Restore America Honors. It's the event that kicks off our campaign to save historic sites across the country. Don't miss this exciting event, HGTV's Restore America Honors. Friday night at 8, 7 Central on HGTV.
Welcome back. I'm Grant Goody. When Mike Worth purchased his 1913 home in Belleville, Ohio, it was chopped up into apartments and small offices. Mike bought it anyway because he wanted the challenge of bringing back its original beauty. 7 years later, Mike, his wife Kathleen, and their children are close to completing their goal. It's been a long but rewarding journey as the Worth family uncovered clues about their home's undertaking past and formed a long-lasting friendship with some of its previous living residents.
I saw a for sale by auction sign, and I've always kind of had my eye on the house.
When Mike Worth bought his fixer-upper in Belleville, Ohio, it was an undertaking in more ways than one. The 1913 house needed a massive renovation, and it had a long history of being the town funeral parlor.
The only thing I knew for sure was that it was just always known as the old Snyder Funeral Home. I didn't know when they owned it or when they sold it.
But what Mike did know was that the neglected house had potential. He and his wife Kathleen have dedicated themselves to reviving the splendor they knew it once had.
The first time I looked at it, I fell in love with the woodwork in it, and the built-in china closet in the dining room, the columns inside.
But along with the architectural treasures, Mike also dug up evidence of the home's unusual past in a corner of the old barn.
We found some old shipping labels from when this was a funeral home, when the Snyders owned it.
The labels confirmed what Mike and Kathleen already knew, but they were curious if by chance any members of the Snyder family were still around. Kathleen's search finally tracked down a phone number.
And I said, "Hi, I live in your old house, and we're looking for pictures."
The family responded with several photos, and they helped fill in the missing facts. The Worths learned that in 1941, Ora and Marion Snyder bought the home, and for 30 years they ran the funeral business and raised 10 of their 13 children here. The Snyder siblings also told the couple what it was like growing up in out-of-the-ordinary surroundings.
They used to play hide-and-go-seek in the caskets, and to them it was just totally natural to live in a funeral home. You know, they grew up with it.
Come on in. Oh, can we come in your beautiful home? Sure. Oh my goodness.
Some of the Snyder children still live nearby and cherish their childhood home. The Worths enjoy it when they can stop by and talk about old times.
I noticed when you bring your grandchildren over, you always show them the clothes chute. You got dropped down.
They threw me down the clothes chute. My brothers did.
It seems that the Snyders' childhood was filled with fun and games. And when Mike and Kathleen's daughter, Hazel, discovered a big league souvenir, they began to suspect it was one of the Snyder children who lost the coveted collectible, a 1940s Joe DiMaggio and Charlie Keller baseball card.
It was under the back stairs and removed one of the boards, and I crawled under there and found it.
But another item uncovered during the renovation gave Mike and Kathleen a solid sign that there was more than one family here in the funeral business.
One of the things we found was the original shingle, I guess you'd call it, that hung on the front columns of the house, and that he was a licensed funeral director.
Mike and Kathleen learned that the first owner was Al Schaefer. He bought the house in 1913 with his wife Mary. But it would be another surprising discovery that would help explain how the Schaefers started the funeral home.
This yardstick was from his furniture business, or the undertaking business came with the furniture store. And he went to embalming school after he built this house, and then eventually moved the business into the house.
While the house had been a funeral parlor for decades, Mike and Kathleen are giving the Ohio house a new life as a family home. And now, 7 years into their restoration, the end is finally near.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to being able to come home from work and be able to sit down, read a newspaper, and just be able to enjoy it.
I can't imagine living anywhere else. I truly love my house.
Kathleen experienced some unexplainable coincidences while decorating her house. One concerns the way she chose her dining room rug. When she came across a black rug with roses on it, she had a strange feeling that it was right for the room. A few months later, Kathleen ran into a woman who had been in the house years before the Worths owned it. The woman asked if their home still had the black rose carpeting. Kathleen was puzzled how the woman knew the color of her rug, until Mike removed a radiator and discovered a strip of the original carpeting that was black with red roses on it. When we come back, a tiny clue in a 13,000 square foot Victorian leads a Maryland couple to their home's prominent past owners.
I opened it up, and lo and behold, we found a little tin.
Stay with us.
Becoming Miss America opened up a whole new world for me. But not every woman is as lucky. Business Week reports that Walmart pays women less than men. And the New York Times reports that Walmart does not promote women fairly. I've started a new website so I can send you text messages about how we can help these women.
Visit us at www.walmartversuswomen.com.
If you're in hot pursuit of the latest styles in bedroom furnishings, now's the time to get down to Bedroom Expressions. These are the final days of our 4th of July Sizzling Savings event. Not only will you save big, but you'll get no interest for 18 months. And for the first time ever, there's no minimum purchase required. So be cool and move fast, because these are the final days to get no interest for 18 months with no minimum purchase required during Bedroom Expressions 4th of July Sizzling Savings event. 4310 South Maryland Parkway across from UNLV.
Go naked. Well, nearly. Introducing Almay Nearly Naked, a weightless liquid makeup. One touch on the pad gives you flawless coverage that feels naked, only nicer. Nearly Naked from Almay, hypoallergenic.
It's the Great Paint Celebration at your neighborhood Sherwin-Williams store. Stop by for expert advice and incredible savings. Now through Monday, save 30% on all paints and stains, including Everclean and Super Paint in our new Twist and Pour container. Take 33 to 64% off all wallpaper. Save now through Monday and get everything you need. Our best paint, our best prices, your beautiful room. Ask how? Ask now.
Ask Sherwin-Williams.
Do you have a big family or a small family? Do you spend more time cooking or cleaning? At Sears, we know a lot about appliances and our customers. That's why 2 out of 3 homeowners have an appliance from Sears. We have a better selection than anyone.
We'll make sure you find the right one. We'll match any price, plus give you 10% of the difference.
Best selection, best service. Come in during the 4th of July sale and get 0% financing until July 2004 on all home appliances, plus free delivery on refrigerators. Sears, good life, great price.
Kids dinner!
When you add Kikkoman teriyaki to your cooking, you're adding a time-honored tradition. Kikkoman, the original teriyaki.
On House Hunters, there's drama.
House for sale? 315 Blair. Step on it.
Action.
The neighbor's dog seems friendly.
Mystery. And some really, really ugly wallpaper. The search for the perfect house. House Hunters. 2 episodes Thursdays at 10, 9 Central on HGTV.
You should see what's on HGTV. You should see.
Welcome back to If Walls Could Talk. Time, money, and infinite patience is all it took for Ray and Beverly Compton to restore their 13,000 square foot Victorian in the city of Frederick in western Maryland. Ray and Beverly became the home's 3rd owners when they bought it in 1980, the year the house turned 100. And after 20 years of working to bring it back, they've discovered that the best clues come in small packages.
This was probably a part of our midlife passage, I'm not sure. We have no children, so we needed a project.
On a casual bike ride, Beverly and Ray Compton found their next pet project, a grand 1880 Victorian. The couple wasn't looking to buy a house at the time, but they couldn't forget the magnificent structure they stumbled upon.
We were still amazed at the house, the size, because it really looks bigger inside than it does outside.
After they moved in, the Comptons welcomed the challenge of restoring the massive house. But they knew working on a 13,000 square foot structure would be no small feat.
And it's like starting to paint the Brooklyn Bridge with a toothbrush, getting gas to the house, which we were able to tap into a gas main, getting electric put underground and telephone wires underground.
Determined to get the house back in shape, Ray and Beverly delayed their research until stumbling upon an old book at an auction entitled History of Western Maryland. Dated 1882, the book features some of the area's most prominent families and their homes. The Comptons read about Ezra Houck, a bank president who once owned the land where their house now sits.
And Ezra Houck had 700 plus acres. Then he had 11 children, 3 boys, 8 girls. And each of the 3 boys, on the death of the father, received 1/3 of the property.
It was George Houck, one of Ezra's 3 sons, who built the sizable brick structure that measured up to his family's social prominence.
I think a grand is a good word for the house. The word that I would say is it's a mansion of its time.
The couple suspects that George was quite proud of his creation after they uncovered his personal stamp of approval on an attic wall.
I think he was sort of a person with a very big ego. And I think he just wanted his name everywhere that it could be.
While removing layers of wallpaper, Ray discovered George also had a taste for artistic touches.
I uncovered the bottom border showing a stencil pattern, and we had no idea that anything was stenciled or frescoed in the house.
The Comptons also had no idea who covered them up or when, until their restoration smoked out the truth.
Back in 1980, all of the windows in the house were covered with dark green shades. So we weren't really sure their shutter panels were still intact. Once we got it loose enough to pull out, I opened it up, and lo and behold, we found a little tin.
When Ray looked inside the tiny tin, he found a mysterious message from the past.
And the note read, J.D. Ford, Frederick, Maryland, February 22nd, 1924.
The Comptons learned that the home was remodeled in the 1920s, and they suspect that Ford must have worked for the wealthy new owners at that time.
Grayson Bowers was the second owner of the house, he and his wife, Chrissy. Bowers' family had 4 boys. Each of the boys, 2 of them became involved in the lumber business. One of the boys became a surgeon in the Army Medical Corps. And the third one was Charles Fritz, of course, who became an architect.
Ray and Beverly knew Charles still lived in the area. After contacting him, they were happy to discover that he was the one who designed the 1920s changes to the house.
And he drew the plans for the remodeling of the first floor for his parents. So it described the before and afters of most of the things in the house.
One plan they learned from Charles was that he only redesigned the first floor so his parents could live on that level into their elderly years. This explained why exploring the second floor was like marching back in time.
One of the things we found in a closet was an old uniform. The particular man that owned this was Ralph Firestone Bowers, and his nickname was Mike. And his children sold us the house. Mike went on to be a physician in the South Pacific in the Army in the 40s.
After 20 years, Ray and Beverly have grown accustomed to living in such a grand place. And it's especially rewarding knowing they've revived a prominent part of Western Maryland's past.
You do feel that you're sort of keeping something for other people in the future, because often the old houses are white elephants. Well, it makes us feel good that we're able to save it.
Ray says it's not only the walls that are talking, but the sidewalks too. 4 tiny handprints were found embedded in the walkway outside the house. They date to sometime between 1908 and 1924, when the Bowers lived in the home. So the Comptons are pretty certain it was the 4 Bowers boys who left the lasting impression. When we return, we'll revisit the 1918 Washington farmhouse we showed you earlier and discover how one man's dump can be another man's dream. Stay with us.
Thursday night on Landscaper's Challenge. Her boring backyard needs a boost.
I want to make it our own little oasis.
3 designers have accepted the challenge.
We'd have a fountain that leads down into the pool.
Which design will she choose on Landscaper's Challenge? Thursday night at 8:30 on HGTV.
One room in desperate need of a makeover. 3 possible solutions. Which would you choose?
What if we do the wrong thing?
HGTV Thursday, 3 hot designers make their pitch.
We decided to go with
Designers Challenge, Thursday night at 9:30, only on HGTV. Home and Garden Television.
Visit HGTV.com and sign up for a free online gardening newsletter designed to deliver new ideas directly to you. HGTV.com.
Cuckoo! Oh, man, every hour it's the same thing. I come out of my little chalet here, stare at your awful paint color. Hey, what do you call this color? Life without parole? You people need help! Need a new paint job? At Ace Hardware, we can help.
Do you get your strength training workout by lifting 20 pounds of water? Does mopping your kitchen mean closing your kitchen? Kick the bucket. Get a Swiffer Wet Jet. Just push the button and watch the Swiffer cleaning solution power through dirt. And bury it into a thick, absorbent pad. For your regular cleaning and your irregular cleaning. Swiffer Wet Jet. Stop cleaning. Start Swiffering.
People who love their pets this much don't shop in a supermarket. Supermarkets are for people. Petco is for pets. Petco, where the pets go.
What should we do with their hair today? Wear it up, down, spike it.
People who love their pets this much deserve to save at Petco. Save $5 with the instant coupon on select large bags of Eukanuba large breed formula dog food. Petco, where the pets go.
Come on in, Derek. I thought we'd discuss this thing and have it all worked out. You're our starting shortstop. How can you possibly afford to spend 2 nights dancing, 2 nights eating out, and 3 nights just carousing with your friends? Oh.
If you want to enjoy the New York nightlife, bring your Visa card, because Orso, Cheetah, and the Broome Street Bar don't take American Express. Visa, it's everywhere you want to be.
The Hoover Steam Vac Dual V outcleans all other leading brands to leave your carpet clean and help it dry fast. The exclusive Hoover Auto Rinse feature automatically rinses with clean water. Steam Vac Dual V, now with Auto Rinse.
Welcome back to If Walls Could Talk. Earlier in the program, we visited Steve and Becky Ostrom and their 1918 farmhouse in Western Washington. In the 10 years that they've been restoring the home, they've uncovered nearly 50 years of history from the family who built it. An especially deep source of information has been the Moen family trash dump that Steve uncovered not long after moving in.
I was looking for it because I like this kind of stuff.
Steve's excavation has turned up countless medicine bottles, pottery, and even some 50-year-old nail polish. It's the story behind each item that keeps him digging.
When somebody lives in a house for this long and they have that many kids, they leave a lot of clues on what their life was like.
Steve admits that his wife doesn't see as much charm in the old bottles as he does. To Becky, trash is trash, even if it is historical trash. Thanks for watching. Remember, every house has a history, so keep looking for clues to the past in your home. I'm Grant Goody.
And what else would you do with the Model T bumper? I mean, it's definitely a conversation piece.
I had no concept of what we had to do. I thought we would be just hanging up some wallpaper and buying carpet. I had no idea we were going to have to knock down walls and knock down plaster and the mess that it is. I just had no